Finally, we got there in the end. F1 Flaming Tarmac, episode 79. F1 Flaming Tarmac, episode 79. The British GP ends in controversy. We're going to talk about this on the video today. I know the football's on Portugal, but you know what? I don't care. Big up to England, by the way. Big up to England. That amazing game that they did yesterday. Up. Let's go all the way, guys. Let's go all the way. I think we can. Why not? Why not? Why can't we go all the way? England, let's go, man. Brilliant game yesterday with Mexico. Well, it was early this morning, really, UK time. Bit of controversy, a lot of controversy towards that game as well. England kind of going into the Lions den with all the Mexican fans shooting out fireworks outside their hotel to try and put the England team off. Very dirty tactics there. Very, very dirty tactics. They can't win fair on the football pitch, so they're going to do it that way. But it is what it is. England won, and we move on. But we're not here to talk about England. We're here to talk about what happened yesterday, what could have been a classic. A classic. But it did end up being a classic. It ended up being something very controversial. See if I can change this camera. There you go, that's better. It ended up being controversial. Ended on a safety car. On the safety car. Remember the safety car? Abu Dhabi 2021. The safety car. We're going to talk about that already as well. And I know we're going to get some Max Verstappen fan geek. He's going to come on my channel. Or he's going to come on my inbox. And he's going to say something. Oh, it's not the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't matter. Max won in 2021. He didn't break the rules. The same generic bullcrap. The same generic bullcrap. That's going to come out of Max Verstappen's mouth. But you know what? I don't care. I do not care. That British Grand Prix yesterday, brilliant in practice. Only the one practice, by the way. We know that. It was only the one practice, but it was still a good practice because when you got a sprint weekend, when you have a sprint weekend, we all know, we know the rules. You get one practice for the weekend. So when you do get that practice session, it's like a, I would say, it's like a qualifying kind of. A bit like a qualifying free. That's what it's like. It's like not qualifying. It's like practice 3 where you have to put your foot down to test the car. That's what practice 1 is like on a sprint weekend. Big up to everyone on TikTok as well. I appreciate all the love. Thanks for everyone on TikTok as well. I haven't been on in a couple of days because I was away, but now I'm back. And that's what I'm going to do today. Just talk about Formula 1, what happened yesterday. And how this race ended in controversy. And I know a lot of people are going to say, no, it never. It ended on a normal way. That's the way that Abu Dhabi 2021 should have finished. That's exactly how Abu Dhabi 2021 should have finished. Under a safety car. Just like that. They spoke to Toto Wolff yesterday. Toto Wolff. He done his interview after the race yesterday. They asked him, what did you think of the ending? And Toto Wolff said, it's a shame Abu Dhabi 2021 didn't end that way. That's how Abu Dhabi 2021 should have ended under a safety car. And I don't care who you support. I don't care if you support Alonso. I don't care if you support Max Verstappen. I don't care if you support any other driver in Formula 1, past and present. It don't matter to me. What matters to me is you must acknowledge, you must admit it to yourself. And it doesn't matter if you hate Lewis Hamilton, because there's a lot of haters out there who hate Lewis Hamilton. I get it. I get it. You hate Lewis Hamilton. That's it. You can't like everybody. You're not here to please everybody. But what it boils down to is Lewis Hamilton at Abu Dhabi 2021, it should have ended under a safety car, just like this race ended under a safety car. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? You're going to get the same generic Max Verstappen fanboy answer. As soon as you say, you know what? That's the way Abu Dhabi 2021 should have finished. And you know what they're going to come out with? These people have got no brains. Pea-brain imbeciles they are. Pea-brain imbeciles. They haven't got no brains, no brain cells to rub together. So they come out and say a simple answer because they've got simple brains. They come out and say, oh, stop moaning. You're still moaning. Stop moaning. That's it. There's no dialogue. There's no debate. There's no back and forwards. It's just basically stop moaning. Very simple. Stop moaning. And that's all you can say. But anyway, this Grand Prix could have been a good Grand Prix. It was good until the race. Ferrari, what happened to Ferrari again? Pitting Lewis Hamilton when they didn't need to. That cost him position. And we're going to talk about the failing Cadillac, the failing Aston Martin. Again and again and again. These teams just can't get it together. They just can't get it together. So, guys, before I start getting into it, this is the F1 Flaming Tarmac, episode 79, the British Grand Prix, Silverstone. And I want everybody to like the video and subscribe. I can see people watching. If you don't want to talk in the chat room, that's fine. But remember, like the video and hype it as well. It really gets out our channel there in the algorithm. I know you're probably watching the Portugal game now against Spain. I don't care. It's just started as well, just on my phone. It's just the alert just came on my phone. Game started. But you know what? I'm doing my video because this is more important for me and for the Formula One fans who ever watch me. So, the race weekend, British Grand Prix. Lewis first to come out the blocks. So this is Silverstone Grand Prix. This is the first practice session of the weekend and the only practice session of the weekend. And Lewis Hamilton decided to say to himself, I'm coming out first. I'm not sure if he done that last season or the season before, but he done it this season. He's thinking, right, this is the only practice. And by the way, this is the second sprint weekend that the British Grand Prix are hosted. The two ever sprint weekends that they have ever had. The two best sprint weekends that they have ever had in F1 was Silverstone, the very first one and the only one. This is the second one, by the way. But the first one, what they did, and the second one was the Brazilian Grand Prix. Them two was the best sprint weekend, and they were both in 2021. The first two, I think it was Silverstone and Brazil. Remember that one where Max Verstappen pushed Lewis after over the track, where Lewis Hamilton had to go wide? That one. Them first two sprint weekends were the best. What I don't understand, why do they keep putting sprint weekends in tracks like Miami and Azerbaijan? Doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. When you have a sprint weekend, you want a track where you can overtake. If you can't overtake, it's pointless having the sprint weekend. Just my opinion. So, in the first practice session, Lando Norris looked like he was struggling with his car. He was complaining about the stiffness of the car, the flex. Couldn't really get around the corner. He was oversteering and understeering. Earlier in the practice session, Lewis was doing 4/10 faster than everyone else in the final sector. So Lewis Hamilton, you could see at this point, even at the early parts, that he was showing his muscle. He was showing his flex. He was showing what he's got underneath the car. Because remember, this first practice session is like practice 3, because you only get one. So early in the practice session, Lewis was doing 4/10 faster than everyone else in the final sector, which is not even big. You get me? That wasn't even a big thing. That's what Lewis Hamilton was saying. Wasn't even a big thing at that time. 9 minutes to go, and Kimi Antonelli goes half a second faster than his teammate George. 1 minute 29.4, straight to the top, and George in second. 8 minutes to go. Then right at the end of the session, Lewis Hamilton pops out at 1 minute 29.2, straight to the top. Lewis is 6/10 faster than Leclerc, his teammate. So the top 6 at the end of the practice session was Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc, Russell, and Piastri. There you go. So let's go straight into the sprint qualifying. SQ1 had the first run, top of the table with Hamilton second. Second run, Hamilton tops it. SQ1 results at the end was Hamilton, Leclerc, Hadjar, Piastri, and Russell. So by this time, Hadjar is out qualifying his teammate, which is Max Verstappen. And you know what? I said this at the beginning when he came into the Red Bull. I said, this guy, Hadjar, is a baller. I knew he was a baller from when he was in F2. This guy's a baller, and he ain't going to lay down for Max Verstappen like the other ones did. You get me? He's going to be there. He's going to be racing. So Lewis Hamilton is really going fast. This is SQ2 now. Lewis Hamilton's really going fast at SQ2. Kimi tops the time sheet for about 2 seconds until Hamilton tops it straight after. So the battling was between Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton. George only 8 fastest in 2 temps in the first sector, 4 temps in the middle sector, and sector 2 temps in the final sector. So Ferrari is actually gaining time on the straight. So by this point, we could see during the SQ2 that Ferrari was gaining on the straights. Now, when is the last time we saw that Ferrari's faster than Mercedes on the straight? This is what Ferrari's been complaining about for a long time. And it's understandable. It's understandable because, let's face it, Mercedes have been the fastest car. Maybe not on the corners, but on the straights. But by this time in SQ2, Ferrari, all the upgrades I've had, all that is working out for them. It's working out, and yeah, it's doing good. So Ferrari's actually getting on the straights. Lewis didn't even get the last 2 corners right, and he still topped it. Final results of the session: Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc, Lawson, and Piastri. In SQ3, there were 6 minutes of SQ3 to go. Usually, when you have a when you have a qualifying session, you get 2 runs. But in this, there's only 6 minutes in 6 minutes in SQ3. So most of the drivers were waiting because I think Silverstone is the 4th fastest track on the grid. So I think by this point of the SQ3, because there's only 6 minutes at the end, drivers were waiting to get 1 lap in instead of doing 2. If it was a smaller track like Austria, I think they probably would have got 3. But because Silverstone, one of the biggest tracks, one of the longest tracks on the calendar, they decided to do right. We're going to wait and do 1 lap. So there was 6 minutes ago SQ3, but the drivers waited for the last 3 minutes to do. I don't understand why they did that. I reckon you could have got a banker lap in, but it don't matter. 11th, a thousandth of a second, he beat Hamilton. So the results. So Hamilton got the fastest lap by a thousandth of a second, beating Antonelli and Verstappen. So the top 3: Hamilton, Antonelli, Verstappen. So let's go to the sprint race. Good start for Lewis. Squeezed Kimi in the first corner. Lando, I don't think Kimi, see, the old Kimi Antonelli would have just tried to fight it because he knows he's leading the championship. He's got more to lose than Lewis Hamilton. So if he tries to try and squeeze in that gap and then he goes off the track and gets a DNF, we know what's going to happen, innit? So he doesn't need to. Good start for Lewis Hamilton. Squeezed Kimi in the first corner. Lando took Kimi as well. Kimi came back at him. Russell battling with the McLarens. So the Russell was battling with McLarens. Verstappen is losing places. He lost 2 places. And that's just in lap 3. Russell taking 2 McLaren straight after in the same corner, but lost it after. So the boost mode, everyone's still got the boost mode. I think Russell used the boost mode in that sector, passed it to McLaren, but McLaren had something waiting for them. Boom, took him after the boost mode was activated. Lap 8, Kimi passes Hamilton on the Hangar straight and boost mode. That kind of peed off at Lewis Hamilton. We know how it is. I know he's a loyal, I know he's a humble guy, but you know, watching that guy go past you with that beast mode, it just seems, you know, it's the way it is at the moment, and it's the way regulations. I don't mind the regulations. I think it's a good going in the run direction. I know they're going to change something about it next season. We'll see what happens. They're probably going to change it for Max like they always do. We know how it goes. So, lap 10, Russell passes Verstappen on the hanger straight. Russell and Verstappen was having a good battle, to be fair. Now Leclerc is on Verstappen and on the hanger straight, passes Max. Zero defending for Max because he knows that he's got nothing left in the car. Qualifying session, and that was it. And the winner of the race was Kimi Antonelli and Lewis second as well. So Kimi Antonelli winning the sprint race. So straight to the qualifying session. This is the qualifying session for the race. So Q1, 10 minutes left. George crashes into the gravel. Front wing damage, but he got out of it. He went into the gravel. He damaged a front wing. And at this point, I was thinking, nah, you ain't going nowhere, bro. There's no way you're going to get out of this. You damaged your wing. You probably got underfloor damage. He's not going to get out of it, but he did. He got out of it. Typical British style. Move on. And they changed his nose, and he's back out again. Big up to George Russell. The results in the first qualifying was Hadjar, Lawson, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, and Verstappen. In Q2, Antonelli tops the second session. Q3, Oscar comes out first, fighting with the car. And in Luffield, same time he got in Sector 2. At the end of the Q3 was Antonelli, Russell, and Hamilton, and Leclerc and Hadjar. Lewis last time in turn 3, and he got a rear slide. So that was it of the qualifying. Yeah, and that was the qualifying. So, look, we know what happened to the race. We know this safety car was controversial. It was very, very controversial. I put a poll up. On the YouTube. It's in the live chat now. Do you think that the race ended wrong? So, look, at the end of the day, right, everyone's got the favourites here. You know, when I come in here, I do it all funny here. I try and make it funny, entertaining, but everyone's got the favourites. You like who you're going to like, innit? I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I like who I like. You like who you like. But what it boils down to, we've got to be respectful to each other. So, I'm just going to go straight to it. So, the crash that Max Verstappen had, you watched the race, suffered a rear wing failure and spun out in the gravel at Stowe corner at lap 48. The safety car, the incident deployed the safety car to bunch up the field with track marshals clearing the Red Bull car. And what I didn't understand is the car was clear. Everything was clear. And we was, after the amazing race, especially the race that we've had, the battle between George Russell and Max Verstappen, when George Russell was trying to pass Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen was just chopping him off and cutting it off. The battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen as well. They had some good battles there. The race could have been a potential classic. It was so exciting. Everybody was battling on the racetrack. The only one that got away kind of clean on their own was Charles Leclerc, which was out in front. Lewis Hamilton got a 5-second time penalty, which I think he didn't deserve. They said he got a penalty for a false start. Even though he didn't move past the line, he moved before the line. So even Martin Brundle was speculating about that. And at the end of the day, I don't think he should have got a penalty. I think it was ridiculous. If he passed the line, yeah, you get a penalty. You do get a penalty. But he didn't pass the line, did he? Car just moved a little bit. And it wouldn't have done nothing to the times. It would have done nothing for his advantage at the beginning of the race. So they gave him a 5-second time penalty. By this point, I probably thought that Lewis Hamilton, when he got that, he probably wasn't going to win, but he could try and get a podium. But let's go back to the safety car. A safety car incident was deployed. The safety car to bunch up the field while the track marshals cleared the Red Bull car. The software glitch on the lap, on the penultimate lap, the official timing system was flagged as a message that the race would restart on the final lap. So basically, there was a final shootout. I think at this point, we had Charles in first, second Kimi Antonelli, and third Lewis Hamilton. All of them on fresh tyres. So we could have got one amazing finish lap, which probably would have been, I don't know who would have won. I don't know who won. I don't know if it would have been Charles. I don't care if it was going to be Kimi Antonelli. And I don't know if it was going to be Lewis Hamilton. But one of them three was going to win it, innit? So we was all getting excited watching it that was going to finish on an amazing lap. But what happened? What happened? All of a sudden, they said there was some glitch with the software, and they turned around and said, you know what? We're going to finish on a safety car. So as soon as I heard that, I knew exactly what social media was going to be like. They're gonna say, why didn't Abu Dhabi finish on a safety car, which it should have. This race finished on a safety car. Why couldn't Abu Dhabi 2021 finish on a safety car, which would have solved the problem? And that season, with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton battling for that title, how dirty was Max Verstappen? How much was the media? How much was the rules? How much did Max Verstappen get away with? Listen, I know there's a lot of Max Verstappen fanboys out there, but go back and watch that entire season. You can watch it somewhere on YouTube somewhere. Go back and watch the end. Go and watch that season and how it played out. And ask yourself, was that a fair season? Was that fair? Because in my opinion, it wasn't. And all those memories come flooding back. It all came flooding back. Abu Dhabi 2021. But anyway, this last lap, he should have carried on in this scenario. There was they made up some excuse that there was a software glitch. And the anti-climax of the FIA quickly cancelled the instructions due to mandatory unlapping rules. The race finished in control formation under a safety car with a chorus of boos from the grandstand. And they actually mentioned it with commentary, by the way, because you know what they can do on TV when there's boos. Remember when Max Verstappen comes on the podium, when he used to go on the podium and get his trophy, and the people used to boo, and then Sky used to just turn the volume down. This time, Sky commentators acknowledged that the crowd was booing. It should have finished. This race should have finished with one lap to go. One lap to go. And it would have been a brilliant race. But it ended in controversy, just like Abu Dhabi. And it's always the technology, and it's always the technology. Michael Massey was the scapegoat. Michael Massey, in my opinion, was the scapegoat for Abu Dhabi 2021. It's easy to blame him. You get rid of him, bye-bye. And then they turned around and said it was a human error. Why didn't they just turn around who made the mistake at Abu Dhabi 2021? Instead of saying human error. It's just a corporate thing, isn't it? It's just a corporate, but it is what it is. I'm very disappointed in the ending. That weekend was good up to that point. British Grand Prix was good up to that point. So let's get the results, the final results, and we will finish off. I'm going to get the final results, and I will get the let's get the drivers standing. So Kimi Antonelli finished with 0 points. Get the results. So I don't think Kimi finished with any points. So points are gaining on him now. Lewis Hamilton. It's between Lewis Hamilton and George Russell now, who can win, who can take it to Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli has had 3 DNFs he's had 2 DNFs in 3 races. 2 DNFs in 3 races. Crazy, isn't it? So Kimi Antonelli has got 179 points. And George has got 54. That's not much now. Hamilton's got 147. If Hamilton If they wouldn't have pitted Hamilton at the end and he would have stayed out, Hamilton would have been a lot closer. He would have been in second. But then they pitted him and he lost places to George Russell because George Russell was clever not to pit. So Kimi Antonelli, 179 points. George Russell with 154 and Lewis Hamilton with 137. Charles Leclerc fourth with 108 and Lando Norris with 97. They're the top five. So let's do the teams. Mercedes on top, constructors 333, second Ferrari 255 and McLaren 179 in third place. Red Bull in fourth place 128 and Alpine with 60. And that's it, man. That's it. That's the end of it. So guys, I'm going to be heading off. Thanks for joining us today. Just like the video. I know it's all good. All right, see you later, guys. Bye.